Hi, everyone. Welcome to our virtual event today with Way Up. We're super excited to be here with you guys. Today, we're going to do a little company overview of Toll Brothers, and then we're going to get into all the details about our internship program. And then towards the end, we will introduce our lovely panel joining us today. And as always, at the end, we will leave time to go through a Q&A as well. My name's Haley Spicer. I'm the University and Diversity Recruiter for Toll Brothers, and I'll be the host and one of the moderators for this virtual event today. A little bit about me. I have been with Toll Brothers for about a year and 3 months now, and I manage our internship program as well as our management associate program. It's been so much fun to travel to a ton of different colleges and universities and meet with so many students interested in the real estate industry. All right, so let's get started. So Toll Brothers was founded in 1967 by Bob and Bruce Toll. And back then, the main focus was really on single family homes in the southeastern Pennsylvania region. And today we are a Fortune 500 company that serves urban and suburban, luxury move up, empty nester, and active adult buyers, as well as renters in 25 states and over 50 different real estate markets. A few years to note here, in 1986, Toll Brothers becomes a public company and is listed in the New York Stock Exchange. In 1990, Toll Brothers becomes the largest builder of luxury homes in the US. And in 2015, Toll Brothers takes the #1 spot for the honors of the world's most admired company for home builders by Fortune magazine. And we've actually been able to hold that title each year since. And today our company spans across 24 states. So we operate in more than 60 different markets. And we like to say, as you can see here, we're the smile of the US. So Toll is the only national home builder who is focused on the luxury market. So you can see in this chart that our average home price over here on the right is significantly higher than some of our other national builders and competitors that we have. Most of our competitors are actually small private builders in local markets. Next, we'll talk about the Toll Brothers advantage. So we focus on 4 key pillars, which are unrivaled choice, prestigious locations, distinctive architecture, and extraordinary customer experience. So our customers receive a highly personalized and hands-on design studio experience, which is guided by a professional design consultant. So we offer selections from premium products, state-of-the-art appliances, and luxury fixtures and finishes. And Toll Brothers builds communities in the heart of where people want to live. We always say that we're on the corner of Main and Main because all of our communities have access to natural features, proximity to schools, commuter routes, and entertainment. And with extensive selection to really suit any lifestyle at any life stage, we offer extraordinary architectural elements and thoughtful design. And lastly, Toll Brothers delivers an experience beyond compare that really exceeds the expectations by meeting customers through professionalism and thoughtful attention at every turn. And today we have the most diverse types of homes in the market, more than any other home builder. Historically, we focused on larger move-up homes, but now we have a pretty healthy mix of single-family homes, townhomes, active adult communities, city living condos, and even campus living properties. I believe we just recently finished up our 8th student housing on the Notre Dame campus, so that's super exciting, and many more to come. And recently we've begun to focus more on the affordable luxury market, still creating those beautiful Toll Brothers homes that are up to our standards, but are just more affordable and targeted towards a younger generation who might be buying their first home. Based on a couple of those slides, I think it's pretty clear why, our buyers and investors choose to buy and invest with us. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about why people choose to come work for Toll Brothers. So we are a well-established and known brand. We have over 50 years of experience within the home building, about 16 years. And I think that really just goes to show we're a place where you can start your career as well as build your career long-term. So we have a strong company culture. We always focus on the customer, whether that customer is a buyer or an internal customer. And our culture also focuses on taking care of each other, doing the right thing, and honoring our history by always remembering where we came from. Next, we have a diverse geographic footprint. So with the balance across the United States and lots of opportunity to grow, we currently own or control 61,000 lots. So we build homes in the market we're in versus building the same cookie cutter homes over and over again, like other national builders tend to do. And I really think that's one of the things that we have many types, which I showed you earlier, which means employees have the opportunity to work on new and exciting things within various locations. So next, we're going to dive into a little bit about our culture at Toll Brothers. So at Toll, we have a shared purpose that binds us together, energizes us, and makes the work that we do meaningful. So we are inspired to make home special, and we're passionate about creating exceptional places that feel like home, because at Toll, we build more than just houses. We build beautiful communities where our customers and families are able to make memories that last a lifetime. So when we live out this purpose about being inspired to make home special, we're a part of something that endures, something bigger than ourselves. So whether you're working out in the field, building the homes, interacting with customers, or supporting the business in our office operations, we know that you have immense pride in what we do. Now we'll just talk quickly about Toll Brothers values. So each of our 6 values really guide our everyday behaviors. So they are do the best, do the right thing, take care of each other, delight the customer, create value, and honor our history. And part of taking care of each other and doing the right thing also means making sure that Toll Brothers is a place where everyone feels welcome to be their true authentic self at work. So it's reinforced in our commitment to human rights, and it's consistent with our company values and the values and beliefs of our leaders and employees as well. So at Toll, we have 5 main diversity and inclusion focus areas, which are build the foundation, create an inclusive culture, hire diverse talent, advance diverse talent, and impact the community. And you can see more information about this and find our full human rights policy on our investor relations site on tollbrothers.com. Now, our employees are passionate about cultivating a diverse and inclusive culture. And we have started several employee resource groups. And these are all voluntary employee-led groups that employees join to meet and support other employees, enhance career and personal development, as well as contribute to the community. So as you can see here, we have Believe, which is our Black employees leading inclusion, excellence, vision, and education. We offer Mosaic, which is our multicultural organization supporting an inclusive culture. We have Pride, which is people respecting individuality and diversity of everyone. And then we have the Toll Women's Network and the Veterans Network. Now, anyone can join an ERG at any time, and every group includes allies who join to learn about different issues, cultures, and to just really support their fellow employees. So these groups are all national, so every time they meet, it is virtual. So where you're located isn't an issue at all. And we do encourage our interns to get involved. I think this is a great way to network, meet other people at Toll Brothers, as well as gain different perspectives and find leadership opportunities. And we have partnerships as well. So we partner with the Posse Foundation and Youth Build. These organizations have a strong focus on addressing educational inequities for underserved communities. And we also contribute both monetarily and through volunteering with local and regional national organizations, such as Habitat for Humanity, American Red Cross, Operation Holidays from Home, and Toys for Tots. All right, so that wraps up our quick Toll Brothers overview. Now we're going to discuss our internship program, which I think that's why most of you who joined today are here. So let's get started. So we have a great internship program. This last year, we brought on about 50 interns across the country. Now, the majority of our interns were out in the field where they're at our communities working hands-on with project and construction management. We also brought on corporate and division operations interns as well within marketing, purchasing, land development, acquisitions, accounting, finance, HR, and we had a few in our apartment living sector as well. So when we decide to hire an intern, we really focus on meaningful work and projects that can complement what these students are learning in the classroom and really give them that real world experience that students need. So while a lot of our interns work only for the summer, we do offer some co-ops or semester-long internships as well. So we do participate in those, but it really just depends on the location and division needs that we have at that time. So we do recognize interns as the future leaders of our company, and we invest in this program because of that. The overall goal of our intern program is to rehire interns multiple summers in a row and then convert those best interns to work with us full time. So usually how the process works is, if you're getting to your senior year, we'll talk to you about full-time opportunities and then hope to get an offer out to you before the new year so you can kind of finish out that senior year with a job offer in hand. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what to expect during your internship with Toll Brothers. So a lot of thought goes into what we can provide our interns for those 10 to 12 weeks. So during your internship, you'll have the opportunity to do meaningful work and support a variety of projects. Like I said, giving you that real world experience that expands upon your classroom training. So it's super important for us that all of our interns obtain practical, unique, and relevant work experience. Our interns will also have networking opportunities and be able to participate in social events, whether that's with fellow interns, your work team at the division offices, or even with leadership at Toll. So we do find it vital for our interns to build their network very early on in their career. And we do also offer personal and professional development opportunities. I'll go into a little bit more detail about those opportunities within the next few slides. So I know Way Up sent, some questions that students sent in. We had a lot of questions about our program timeline. So figured it'd be great to kind of add this in and walk you guys through that. So towards the end of August into September, we begin to plan for our summer internships. So myself and our VP of Talent Acquisition will meet with our executive leadership team to determine who needs an intern, specific locations of where these interns would be located, and what type of intern. So it's not a simple process by any means. We don't say yes to everyone and every division that wants one. We really get down to the nitty gritty on the project intent for the intern, the goals that they have set for that intern before we even move forward with approving the position. Some things we also look into are exploring which divisions might be expanding, which locations might have, 10 plus new communities opening up that, will eventually lead to future full-time hires that we'll need. Those are areas that we really want to place interns. So like I said, we put a lot of thought into this process. We really want to make sure that the intern will get the most out of that 10 to 12 weeks they're with us because it does go by fast. I'm sure the interns that we have on this call today will tell you that. So, but once we finalize all of our internships, we will get them posted by the end of October. So be on the lookout for that. Most of our internships will be posted in the fall, but there are times we may sprinkle in a few more here and there. Things are forever changing and adjusting within the real estate and construction world. So if you don't see anything that would be a fit right away, be sure to check in every so often as we do open up other internships throughout the year. And then throughout November into March, we will go through that recruiting process of interviewing candidates and extending offers for the internships. I will say it's very competitive, and every year we have thousands upon thousands of applications. So that's why we really dedicate that specific time frame from November on to really make sure that we're going through each and every resume to find the best possible candidate for our internship. So once we get offers out, our interns will go through onboarding and will not start until that following May. But we do make sure to be engaged with our interns during that, waiting period to make sure they feel prepared and get all of their questions answered as far as, when it comes to onboarding. Each intern manager is also responsible for sending what we call an intern memo that really just explains a little bit more about your internship. You'll get an idea of who's on your team that you'll be working with daily and the projects that you'll be working on, as well as what to expect out of your internship with us. During the intern program, we want to give our interns as many tools and resources possible to help set them up for success and beyond. So To do that, we host what we call connection calls. They're held every Thursday throughout the months of June and July. And on these calls, we will have different speakers from all levels to just really discuss different areas of our business. Most of our participants that join are our senior leaders and executive leaders. So they get a chance to share their stories, their tips. They were once in your shoes looking for an internship and how they got to where they are now. They'll share their advice, challenges they faced, and then toward the end of the calls, we open it up for a Q&A for all of our interns to ask them questions. So we have great buy-in from our leadership team on how important our intern program is to our business. So our leaders always look forward to these calls and getting the chance to meet every single one of our interns. As I said earlier, we do recognize that our interns are the future leaders of Toll Brothers. So they believe it equally that it is important to get that face-to-face time with our interns each summer and be able to provide advice that they can carry with them for years to come. I know this past summer we had some great guests. So we had our COO, Rob Powerhouse, join. We had both of our executive VPs for the East and the West, Carl Mystery and Seth Ring, join. And I know Jasmine, who you'll all meet in a little bit, joined as well. And she actually did a diversity and inclusion discussion, which was great. So we think it's important to expose our interns to various leaders. And this is also another great way to build your network. Next, we'll talk a little bit about our buddy program. So said it once, I'll say it again, networking is super important. So to help you with this, we will have an intern buddy program. Basically how it works is at the beginning of your internship, you will be introduced to your buddy. We typically do this during intern orientation, and after the virtual orientation is finished, we will put you and your buddy into a breakout room where you'll get to meet each other, get to know one another a little bit, and then you'll both decide on a time every week to meet through Zoom or Teams to just really discuss your week. So you can share best practices, talk about, wins you've had that week, a learning moment, or just talk about your experience as an intern at Toll Brothers. And really the main goal is by pairing interns together, you'll be able to network, get to know each other when normally maybe you wouldn't cross paths on a daily basis, because we do typically assign buddies that are in different departments or functions of our business. That way interns will also get a glimpse of departments or different divisions across Toll Brothers. So networking really creates valuable relationships throughout your career. So this is a great way to start that out with Toll. Now we're going to talk about the type of internship opportunities we offer. So as you're looking through the postings of our internships, you're going to see a full range of internship opportunities. So our opportunities include areas within all of our functional groups, such as construction management, community planning, purchasing, sales, accounting, engineering, finance, human resources, marketing, and land acquisition and development. I did mention this earlier, but the bulk of our internships are going to be within production. I think we're set to have around 18 assistant construction manager interns for summer of 2024, but we will have a handful of interns in other areas listed here as well. So I would like to say too, this does change from year to year, depending on what our needs are at that time. It'll change from summer to summer. So we won't always have opportunities in each of these areas every year. And to apply for these positions, you must currently be enrolled in a college or university. And then we do prefer applicants to be a rising junior or senior. Reason for that is you're kind of just able to, be rehired year after year, and then you're closer to that mark of when we'd be able to hire you on full time. Okay, so I had a couple questions about this as well. So our Toll Brothers application process is pretty easy, 3-step process. So once the positions are posted, you're more than welcome to apply. They will be posted on Way Up, our Toll Career Center, and LinkedIn as well. So I do suggest not just applying to everything that you see. Really take the time to thoroughly review the details and qualifications before you submit your application. But if you do feel that you match more than one opening, don't let me stop you. Please feel free to apply to more than one. I also wanted to point out, you don't always need to align to all of the positions and qualifications 100%. We know students are still learning and growing and, haven't had a ton of, job opportunities as you're in school, but just make sure you're meeting those minimum requirements. So if you align to the role and you meet the qualifications, you will be hearing from our university recruiter, aka me, to set up a phone screen call. So these calls typically take 20 to 30 minutes max. This is an opportunity for me to ask you questions, you to ask me questions, and ultimately just make sure that the position or positions you are interested in are aligning with your goals and ultimately make sense for you. So during this time, I'll also explain more about Toll Brothers, the internship, and some of the projects that you'll be working on throughout the internship. After the phone screen, you'll get set up to interview with the hiring managers. So typically you'll have 1 to 2 interviews with the hiring managers within that specific department. I would say there's probably anywhere between like 1 to 3 managers on that call. And they can usually be virtual or in person if you're within the area, but I will say most of the calls are going to be virtual. And then I will help plan and prepare you for these interviews and make sure that all of your questions are answered before you meet with the team. And wanted to quickly go over some interview tips and tricks. Some of you may already know these, but it doesn't hurt to go over them again. And this just doesn't go for Toll Brothers, but any company you may be interviewing for. These are all super important to keep in mind. So first up, do your research. Researching is a vital part of the interview process. So it really allows you to connect your skills and experience with the goals of the company. I always ask, what do you know about Toll Brothers? So just be prepared. I know that the hiring managers will ask you as well. It's super simple just to look us up and learn a little bit more about us. Second tip, be prepared to answer common interview questions. So they would be like, tell me about yourself. Why are you interested in this position? Typical, where do you see yourself in, 5+ years from now? But always expect maybe to be thrown a curveball one. So for those questions that you don't really expect, it can help to try to quickly identify what type of questions you have been asked. So for example, if the question starts out with, tell me about a time when, or describe a situation when, you've typically been asked a behavioral interview type question. So these type of questions are asked really just to gain an understanding of what your level of experience is, and what work situations that you've been in and kind of how you've behaved or reacted to those situations. So when answering a behavioral based interview question, one of the best strategies that I always tell students is to follow the STAR method. And you can find tips for this anywhere. And I know some of your classes probably tell you about this as well. But STAR stands for the situation, task, action, and result. So this format really sets you up to be able to complete a coherent story, but also, get the point across pretty quickly. Number 3, be able to draw from all of your experience. So I would say one of the most common misconceptions that I find when working with college students is that they think that the experience that they have to share has to be from, full-time paid professional work. And that really isn't the case. In an interview, just be able to, draw from different experiences. So maybe you did work with a club, or you're involved with different clubs at school or student organizations. It could also come from any volunteer work that you receive school credit for, or even just stuff you do outside of that for your own community or any type of involvement. So I always think that's super important. Number 4, ask questions. Towards the end of an interview, I would say probably the last 5 to 10 minutes of any interview, you will always be asked if you have any questions. So it's super smart to come prepared with at least 2 to 3 questions that you could ask that will help you gain a better understanding of the role and the company itself. So some examples of that could be, what does a typical workday look like for somebody in this role? How is success measured in this position? What are some skills that a successful person in this role typically has? So always make sure that you're asking questions. And last one, kind of a bonus tip, but be sure to always follow up this really shows commitment to the role and your professionalism as well. So I will say this kind of keeps you at the top of the manager's mind. I had situations where it comes down, I'm talking to the hiring manager and it comes down to two candidates and one follows up and one doesn't. And they always go with the candidate that follows up. It just really shows your commitment to the company and the role as well. Now, I've had a few questions about our MA program. I know we talked about it a little bit in our previous event on the 11th, but I wanted to kind of go into more depth about it today. So for graduate students who might not be looking for internships, but are looking for something more full-time, we do have a management associate training program. So basically, it's a 9 to 12-month rotational program, and you'll get the opportunity to rotate throughout land acquisition and development, new community model setup, sales, purchasing, quality assurance, and then production of luxury homes. So you'll spend a couple months in each of those. You'll kind of at the beginning, map out what you want those first couple weeks to look like. But that can always change depending on, what you're most interested in and where your goals are for yourself. Really the main goal of our MA program is to develop those most well-rounded operations employees within home building. So the 9 to 12-month program is really comprised of that on-the-job experience through different rotations to our key operations and exposure to all of our functional groups. Now, after completion of the MA program, those MAs are really ready to step into multiple operation roles at Toll Brothers, obviously based on division needs and the MA's area of interest, but it really sets you up to kind of be able to step into any position that we offer, as well as helps you prepare for leadership roles down the road. For these MA positions, there's not really like a typical candidate that we strive to look for to hire for these roles. Some of our candidates, have masters within real estate or real estate development, or just have an MBA and have, a huge passion for the real estate and construction industry and are just interested in learning about all the moving parts that goes on. So I know we have a couple openings for MAs currently. We have an opening in Oregon, we have an opening in Nashville, Tennessee, and then we just opened up one in Englewood, Colorado as well. So if you're a student on here interested in full-time opportunities, definitely go to our website and check that out. All right, so now we're at the part where we get to meet our panel. So I think first up we have Caitlin. Caitlin, if you could just start us off with an introduction, if maybe you want to go through a couple of your bullet points on your slide, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Hey guys, my name is Caitlin O'Malley. I'm a senior at Auburn University and I'll be graduating this May. I've been at Toll Brothers for 6 months now. I started my internship in May this past summer. I kind of have two positions. I'm in M&A and also land acquisition for South Carolina. A fun fact about me is I met Charles Barkley at a home football game my sophomore year. You can see him in the top right picture there. And he actually met my parents a couple weeks before that at the bar and bought them around a drink. So I thought that was interesting.
Nice. That's a really cool fun fact. Awesome. Okay, so I think we have Dante next. You could go ahead.
Hey guys, my name's Dante and I'm a purchasing intern. I've been with Toll for 4 months now and continuing. I will be graduating Kennesaw State University by the end of May. And a fun fact about me is I'm a huge lacrosse fan. I've been playing lacrosse all my life, and it's been a great ride, and I'm looking forward to continuing my work with Toll Brothers. So
wonderful. Thanks, Dante. I appreciate it. Next up, we have Jasmine.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jasmine, Diversity and Inclusion Specialist here at Toll. I'm based out of our headquarters in Fort Washington, Pennsylvania, which is just right outside of Philadelphia. And I've been here for about 2.5 years. I started at Toll actually as an intern and then moved into a full-time position. So definitely excited that we have all of you here on the call today to learn more about our internship program. And I hope that we can get some of you into our next cohort. It's definitely a good foot in the door to get you into those full-time roles.
Absolutely. Great point. All right. right. Nico, can you hear us? I know you're in your car.
Yep, I hear you guys. Hello,
Okay,
everybody. My
perfect.
name is Nico Cafone. I have been with Toll Brothers for about a year and a half now. Like Jasmine, I started as an intern in the summer of May of 2021, where I was a land acquisition intern, similar to Caitlin. I work with a team within New Jersey that sources the properties that Toll ultimately builds our communities on. And now I am currently within the management associate program that Haley just touched on. And yeah, thank you guys all for coming out. Thank you, Haley, for organizing this.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Even from joining from your car, still made time to join, so I appreciate it. Awesome. So I'll go back through all of you guys as well. So I think Caitlin, if we could, go back to you and have you talk a little bit about, what it looks like to be an M&A intern as well as within acquisitions. Could you kind of walk us through what your day-to-day looks like as an internship within this department?
Sure. Also, I do want to apologize if my Wi-Fi is kind of cutting out. It's a little sketchy in my apartment. But so my original internship position that I got was for M&A. Something that really stood out about this position to me was that it was listed as a part-time position, but it was year-round. So I would start it and continue it throughout the school. And so having an internship that's also benefiting you, myself in my career path was very important to me. My main task for this position is creating market reports for my boss. He'll usually kind of send me an email, once a week on a bunch of different areas that he wants me to look into, and I'll create these big reports about anything you can think of in the area, whether it's, demographics, housing permits, everything like that. I'll compile a big Excel file, and then I'll also turn it into a Word document that's sent out to others as well. And through this internship, I was also connected with the land acquisition department in South Carolina, which was super cool to me. I hadn't really known much about land acquisition, but my boss kind of saw a need for that there, and he thought that I would be pretty fitting for the job, which was pretty awesome, and school year as well. I make a lot of comparables for potential Toll Brothers subdivisions in the South Carolina area. We do a lot with Greenville and then some with Charleston and Myrtle Beach as well. And I also work in a database called Land Vision, which I had never heard of, so I'm not sure if anyone else has heard of that either. But I've been working on a project to kind of track other subdivision proposals from others in the market.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I wanted to point out too, I know when we were talking a little bit about the application process, and Caitlin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that you had applied and then I think you reached out to me as well as a couple people at Toll Brothers just to learn more about Toll as a company, as well as the internship opportunity that she was interested in. So I always think that's a great way to kind of, get yourself out there and get familiar with the people at the company. We live in a world where we have so much technology and access to everyone. Not saying that all of you should message me on Facebook or anything, but LinkedIn's a great tool to use when it comes to networking and applying to entry-level positions and internships as well. All right. So Dante, if we could go to you next, kind of walk us through. So I know we had hired you as an ACM intern, so an assistant construction manager intern. And then you realized after a couple weeks to a month that purchasing was, more so the better route for you. So could you kind of talk us through that a little bit and then, what your day-to-day looks like now?
Right. Yes. And thank you, Haley, for creating this as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks to our executive assistant, Barbie Briggs in Atlanta. She is the best. She set us up with a 2-month plan, kind of outlining our activities that we would do. And this plan allowed us to meet someone from each department and basically shadow them and see what they do on a daily basis. And kind of to elaborate on that, I had a chance to visit multiple departments, like you said, land acquisition, purchasing, community planning, interior design, production, and sales. And so, within those departments, you get to really see the responsibilities of each department and how they connect with one another. So I saw myself at first in the production phase, and I was really interested in it, but since my background has already been through production, I kind of want to switch it up and try something new. So it's kind of what we did is kind of like the management associate program, but it's just a lot shorter in the course. So.
Absolutely. Awesome. Sounds good. And then could you tell us a little bit about what it's like being a purchasing intern and kind of what that looks like more so, I would say, on like the business side of construction?
Yeah, so purchasing is more based off of pricing, right? So we do a lot of house books, a lot of options. We know we get to take care of each community, and when we do, we get to ask our homeowners what kind of plans they would like and structures and finishes throughout the community. And we also are in charge of the pricing as well. We also are in charge of contracting. So within the building production phase, we are also hiring contractors to make the exterior siding, masonry. It could be a lot of things. So every department is specific in their own way, and it helps everyone out around. You know, it chains. So
Yeah. Cool. Really cool. I'm glad that you were able to kind of find your niche after you got started, and it seems like it's a really great fit for you so far. So I love to hear that. Perfect. So Jasmine, I guess we'll move to you. Obviously, you were an intern with us, and then now you're working for us full time. I know me and Jasmine work together every single day, day in and day out, when it comes to D&I efforts and things like that. So could you talk to us a little bit about your internship and then, converting into your position now and what that looks like for you? What does a day-to-day look like as a D&I specialist?
Or so when I was an intern here, I think my title was like intern of HR strategy. So I was actually getting my master's in human resource management, and I started out in the HR department as an intern. I was assigned a couple different projects. Our HR department here at Toll is broken down into what we call centers of excellence. So that was a unique aspect of the internship for me because we have a compensation group, we have a group that does benefits, we have a group that does hiring, we have a group that does employee relations. So each of these are centers of excellence, and our internship allows for an HR intern to get to hear a little bit about all of those things. So how Dante was speaking about how he was able to shadow and kind of get a feel for different areas of the business, I was able to do the same just within the HR department. So that was really cool. So I was working on a few different projects as an intern with different groups. And one that kind of stuck was this project around diversifying our talent pipeline. And that is what led me into the role that I am in now, which is our diversity and inclusion specialist. So, like Haley said, we work very close together, even though she just moved to Florida. So now we are hours apart. But I work very closely with the talent acquisition team, helping us find great talent, deciding on the strategy that we're going to use in terms of sourcing from different universities, whether it be events like this here on Way Up, which is awesome, and we're really enjoying our partnership with Way Up so far, things of that nature. I also, aside from talent acquisition, I do a lot with just creating a more inclusive culture here at Toll Brothers. So all of the ERG groups that you saw Haley speak about, we always have different events, getting advice on how we can be advancing feelings of inclusion and belonging here at Toll Brothers. That's all under like my umbrella. So I've really been enjoying it so far, and I think it's been a great opportunity.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Jasmine. I appreciate it. The work she does is amazing, and I don't know what I'd do without her. So I'm happy that you're part of Toll. Great. So Nico, if we could move to you next. I know obviously you were an intern as well, and then now you are a part of our MA program that I touched on a little bit. So if you could just tell us a little bit about your internship experiences, and then if you could just kind of talk us through the MA position, for yourself. I know it kind of looks different for everyone depending on what you're interested in and where you spend most of your time. So I'd love if you could kind of touch on that a little bit and walk us through what your program has looked like thus far.
Yeah, so like I mentioned previously, I was a land acquisition intern similar to Caitlin in the summer of 2021. At that time, I was a junior at TCNJ, New Jersey. Spent the summer with the New Jersey division, like I said, sourcing properties around the state. And then at the conclusion of the internship program, it really just came down to me being candid with my boss and with the other leaders of New Jersey and just telling them how I felt. I loved my experience. And similar to Dante, I was very lucky to get rotated around numerous departments aside from just land acquisition. So thankfully, the division liked me as well and decided to bring me on full time. So during that year, while graduating from PCNJ, I made it a point to get my real estate license, just really stay involved in networking with different people within Toll Brothers. And yeah, right upon graduation in May of 2022, I started in the MA program. And just to really emphasize what you said, Haley, it's a truly unique opportunity within the real estate development industry and more so the home building industry, where you get exposed to the entire life cycle of the real estate development process. There might be a position out there that's similar, but I haven't experienced it if there is or seen one. It truly is unique. Like Haley said, you get to experience and really see firsthand all the different facets of the home building process. And then I think another really underrated aspect of the management associate program at Toll Brothers is just the different networking opportunities you make while rotating throughout each different department. I have contacts within the purchasing department, like Dante's part of right now, within the land acquisitions department, like Caitlin's a part of. I have contacts in the field and production. I have contacts in the sales offices with the sales leaders who are selling our homes on the front lines. And that truly does create a unique opportunity for me to really leverage all of those contacts and really just, I have friends everywhere. And that's really an understatement with regards to how it impacts my day to day with getting stuff done and really just being able to make an impact on New Jersey every single day. So yeah, I think it's a really unique and awesome opportunity. And I think that if you have the opportunity to explore it, you should definitely do so.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Nico. And like I said, we have a couple MA positions open now. So, if you're interested in that after, hearing about it a little bit more, definitely go ahead and check it out and let me know if you're interested and feel free to apply. Awesome. Sounds good. So we'll kind of move into a couple other questions that I got here. So, Dante and Caitlin, if you guys, want to answer this, I think that would be great. What, I guess, initially got you interested in Toll Brothers and just like the construction and real estate industry to begin with? And I know you kind of went through the process not that long ago from applying and interviewing and everything like that. So we had a couple questions about, what initially got you interested in Toll Brothers.
Yeah, so, before I even got into Toll Brothers, I was a part of a subcontracting company. I used to manage 4 or 5 crews with exterior siding. And so we actually won a bid with Toll Brothers to do their siding for their urban area homes, townhomes in Decatur. And I really got interested I really liked the way the structure of their houses looked. There was a well-known company, and I went and applied in LinkedIn and went to a couple of the career fairs that I visited, and that's how I got into it my first way. So
Wonderful. Yeah, I know we go to Kennesaw every year. It's a wonderful construction management program and a great career fair. Caitlin, how about you?
Yeah, so this is actually my 3rd internship that I've had. My previous 2 internships, I'm pursuing a finance degree. So I had some pretty basic finance internships and they weren't all that exciting to me. I loved, the people I met and the experience I got, but I could tell it wasn't really for me. And I had this desire to get into real estate for a while now. So I was kind of trying to narrow down my internship search to just real estate companies. And when I saw the Toll Brothers position come up on, I believe it was my LinkedIn, it was very intriguing to me because I knew of Toll Brothers since I'm from Philadelphia. Obviously their corporate office is there. So I knew a good bit about them. They're known for their awesome designs and the way they construct their houses and the way they relate with their customers. All good things I had heard from them. So I definitely wanted to apply for them and I got in contact with Haley and here I am now.
Perfect. Sounds good. Yeah, and I know I mentioned earlier you had reached out to me on LinkedIn as well. So it just really showed me that she was, super interested in in the company and in the position as well. Perfect. So I know we got a couple questions about if the internships are remote or in person. So we do, all of our internships are in person. I know that there's times where we may have interns work like a Monday or Friday from home, just depending on what each specific division does. So I know that's an option, but we do prefer our interns to be in office. We really just think it's valuable when it comes to building relationships and networking. And, as you're working on different projects, it's just a lot easier to, already be in the office with your team and ask questions and things like that. So further that, I know we got questions if we pay our interns, which we do. We pay all of our interns. You will work full-time Monday through Friday, so like 40-hour weeks. And as far as like relocating, unfortunately, we don't offer any like relocation packages or stipends or anything. But we hope that you're within the area of where the internship is, or if you have friends or family that are in that area that would be okay with you staying with them over the summer, so you could come into the office for the internship that you're interested in, that would be ideal. Like I said, we would pay you for those internships, but we would hate for you to have to use that whole entire paycheck on trying to relocate and find a new apartment or a place to live as you're interning with us. So the ideal candidate will be within that location. And then a couple other questions that we had. I know we had a couple questions about if the postings have went live yet. We will have a couple posted this week into next week. We're gonna have about 50 internships total. So it just takes a little bit to get them all posted on the site, but definitely be out on the lookout for this week. Into the next few weeks, our internships will be posted. And trying to see what other questions we had. I did get a question about if there will be any apartment living internships. I believe we're going to have 2 internships. We're still finalizing the details on those. So be on the lookout for internships with our T-ball team as well. And I think that was most of the questions that we got. I know we have a couple minutes left here, so yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I did see one question come through that I think is interesting. So, I wanted to see if any of the other panelists had some advice. If you are a humanities or a social sciences major, what recommendations would you give to someone who wants to explore opportunities in construction management, purchasing, land acquisitions, or land development? I think that this is a good question. Sometimes if you feel like your major is not the perfect fit for a job, it might discourage you, but that's not to say that you are not welcome to apply, and we would love to speak with you. My advice, and like I said, I'm interested to see if the panelists have some other tips, but I would say, first of all, apply to the job. You can reach out to Haley or myself on LinkedIn to just talk to, maybe we can connect you with someone who can talk to you more about what those opportunities would look like. I think that what matters most is that you have the interest in residential real estate. So that is, the most important thing. What doesn't really matter what your major is, but if you have the interest there and you're willing to learn, that is mostly what these internships are for. They're learning for us to train you, to teach you, and to really develop you all as early career talent into different roles. So that is what I would say. But yeah, if anybody else would like to answer that question, I think it's a good one.
Yeah, following up on Jasmine's point, I've talked to many people in this department, and majority of them don't even have a construction management degree or any other degree that's sort of relative to construction. From what I've known, people have a kinesiology, I'm probably saying that wrong, kinesiology degree, physics degree. So, I mean, don't be afraid to apply and try it out. Like I said, you'll get passed around through multiple departments and see which one you like. So
Yeah, I can further expand on that. Kind of like Haley said, the management associates that we have at Toll Brothers, I can testify and say we really are discriminative backgrounds. Me personally, I graduated with a general administration background, and leaders that hired me full time after my internship some really construction or the real technical stuff that is involved in the home building process. However, they're hiring for the person. They saw the work ethic was there. They saw that the kind of soft skills within me that they knew that I would put effort into learn that stuff that I was lacking. So don't let your background or your degree really hinder you from minimizing your opportunities. I think really to within the real estate industry in general. So yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, Nico. And I think to add to that, we can teach you how to be a CM. We can teach you how to be an assistant land development manager. We can teach you, how to be in these roles. We're not, expecting you to have, be involved with all these real estate clubs and have, 3 internships that have been with, our competitors in residential construction. What we can't teach you is, to have that passion for the industry. So like they were saying, like, don't let your experience discourage you from applying. I believe everyone's able to be taught everything. So if you have that drive and passion for the industry, please feel free to apply. So I appreciate everyone's input on that. So one other question I would like to ask the panelists before we wrap things up here. I'd like to see what advice you all have for people interested in the real estate and construction industry, and just advice for people that are looking into internships with Toll Brothers. Obviously, like Caitlin and Dante, you're finishing up your senior year here, but would love to see what you guys have to say as far as advice for future interns and people interested getting into the industry.
Yeah, very true. So I would say my advice would I have a couple in mind. So probably the first ones would be learning and observing. I would say are one of the main ones. Pay close attention to like every aspect of the home building process while you're out there, and take notes. Ask a lot of questions. People love questions, and try to strive to understand how each step contributes to the overall project is my thing. So, it can be through the production phase, it can be through land ac, real estate or sales, all of the above. Another thing would be networking. Networking is huge, absolutely huge. So building relationships with your colleagues and stuff like that, mentors, supervisors, is a huge benefit. It can open doors to valuable opportunities. In my case, I went from production to purchasing. So it gives you a better future career for prospects. So
my biggest piece of advice, Dante kind of touched on this, but is definitely to ask questions, especially being new to the industry. Everyone's here to help. Not everyone knows everything. And the more you ask, the more you know. So you're kind of growing your knowledge by asking questions. And, everyone's here to help. And I also think, aside from just asking your manager questions, I was put in contact with the intern before me, and she was always willing to answer any questions I had. I could text her, at any hour of the day, and she would always look out for me. So, no one's against you. Everyone's here to help you. I think asking questions is very important. And just in general, I think when you're applying for internships, you should try and get as much experience as you can. Don't single yourself to, one specific position that you want. Because you never know, you might get that position and end up not liking it. And I feel like we've kind of touched on this a lot, but you can move from department to department, even if you're not in Toll Brothers with other companies. I think it's important to try and get as much experience as you can to kind of figure out what you ultimately want to do when you graduate.
Nico or
Sorry,
Jasmine, do you have any? No, you're good.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to chime in because I know I got disconnected earlier. Hopefully you guys heard what I said, but really, I guess to continue on the theme with Caitlin and Dante, kind of in a different regard, be ask questions, so don't be afraid to provide input and insight. Have confidence, and you'd be surprised. I mean, no one's expecting you to know everything from day one, but if you have something to say, speak up and say it. My day zero, absolute first day with Toll Brothers, when I was a land acquisition intern in the I was in all interviews with the big, I'm not sure if any of the employees know what they are, but full reviews that go over every project, and they're a pretty big deal. The big executive management comes to each division and they go over each project, each community. I just woke up on day 0 and gave my opinion on something, and of course I was scared to do so, but it turned out that having the courage to do so and providing some decent insight when every bit of me didn't want to chime in, it's ultimately one of the factors that got me hired full time after my internship. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask questions and don't sell yourself short. Have the confidence to give your insight as well. So.
All right. So I also wanted to add on that a little bit. We might have touched on it as well, but really, I would say another thing I wanted to bring up too is like throughout your internship, some ways to kind of, stand out. Really take every networking opportunity. If you're, invited to lunch with maybe a couple employees that you haven't met before, go. If you have the opportunity to join a meeting, please attend, to learn, more about, what's going on with different departments. Be a sponge, take initiative. So, after you finish up a project you might be working on, don't be afraid to, ask for more. If there's another area that you might be interested in, like Dante's case, he kind of found, after a month, he was, really interested in going down the purchasing path. Don't be afraid to speak up and, take initiative for your, early career. So I think that's super important, and definitely will make you stick out, and stand out when it comes to the intern program. Also, always ask for feedback, throughout your career, especially your internship as well. Ask your coworkers and your manager for feedback as well. Anything that I can do better, anything that you would advise me to do that's going to make me more successful. Stay curious. There's always more to know. I know, especially everyone can probably say this as well in my role. There's always more that I can learn. So continue to be curious and ask questions. And last thing I want to bring up too, I would definitely, establish a good relationship with your manager, especially coming out of school and early on in your career. They really are there to understand you. They know that you're new and that you need support. So don't be afraid to go to your manager for help. They're your mentors, so they will, be there to help you along the way and help you reach your goals. All right. So I think, Asma, unless you saw any more questions, I think that was most of the questions that we had here today. So we'll go ahead and wrap things up. It was wonderful. Thank you everyone for joining our event today with Way Up. It's been great. On the screen here, you'll see the QR code. If you have your phone next to you, you can pull that out and scan that. It will take you to our Way Up page where our internships will be posted very shortly. But we also will have a resume drop there as well, where you can put in your resume to be considered for a couple of our internships, and they will be listed there as well, the internship opportunities that we're going to have. To our panelists, thank you again for joining and sharing your advice and toll stories. And a big thank you to Way Up for putting this event together. I hope you all have a great evening and looking forward to connecting with all of you.